Communities are dispersed, family homes are lost, historic but commercially inconvenient building fabric is cleared away, often with facades retained in an attempt to screen the scale of change, and what was once real, true and alive is suddenly false, fake and dead. This complex process is now usually summed up by disgruntled observers or by those who have suffered as gentrification, an odd word, the meaning of which is somewhat subjective, which is generally used to describe the displacement of an indigenous urban community, usually artisan or trade and craft based, located within a decaying inner city area, by a more affluent but essentially alien and transient community that covets the location of the buildings it colonizes and has the wealth and influence to get what it wants. The result can be the repair of long-neglected historic buildings and even the reinstatement of their original grandeur, lost through decades of multi-occupation or the mix of inappropriate uses. This is sometimes seen as a good thing, which no doubt it is, but this is to take only a superficial view. By tradition, the old residents more often than not lived and worked in their area. The new occupants tend not to live in their occupied area full-time and do not work there. It becomes a dormitory, a second home, and their transience means that a new sense of community does not evolve. The authentic life lived among the architecture of the past, within the theatre of historic streets and courts that gave the area distinction, is dead. This is the process happening within Soho now. Most contemporary debate about Soho focuses not just on its gentrification, but on its sanitisation, as the remnants of the sex industry are fenced in or cleared away to allow new buildings and attract new businesses and residents who, we are led to believe, are not interested in the old sleazy side of Soho. So its image is to be remade and its history doctored to make it more marketable to those who, paradoxically, want to be there, but who are actually not too keen on the traditional character of the area they proclaim to like. It can be argued that Soho is now on the cusp of irreversible change, that those things which have made it special and given it its distinctive character for the last 200 years or so are in the process of being snuffed out. This state of affairs makes a book like this about the evolution of Soho's character and about its architecture urgent and necessary. It can help to ensure that the debate about its future, about what makes it special, is informed and focused. A history of Soho can also offer some solace. There is no doubt that the current threat to its long-established character, which still exists and is still distinct, is real and alarming. But it's important to put this threat into historic context and remember that change has heralded the supposed death of Soho several times in the past. So the current claim that Soho as we know it is dying would have been familiar to past generations of Londoners. Indeed, dramatic change has arguably been crucial to the formation of Soho's special character. As early as 1921, Sophie Cole observed that Soho was a question of change in all around I see, old landmarks gone, and brand new buildings, mostly offices, in their place. I know this from my own direct observations. I've been photographing Soho streets, buildings and people since 1971. And in 1975, when writing a chapter on Soho for a book entitled The Rape of Britain, I observed that Soho's survival was a miracle, since it was under ever-increasing pressure that threatened to make it the all-too-familiar dead city centre. I also mentioned its fragile nature, and argued that every time a community shop like a butcher's or a buttonmaker's is replaced by an office block, Soho's pulse weakens. This was to prove correct, and during the last 45 years most such shops have closed, and the area's pulse has indeed weakened. My compulsion to document Soho made me witness the deaths of many buildings. I remember 36 to 44 Brewer Street, a group of 18th and 19th century houses and shops typical of Soho. In the early 1970s, I photographed their tragic end. They were empty, in the process of demolition, but with the names of the lately ejected tenants still emblazoned on shop fronts and windows. They were a microcosm of Soho's then vibrant and diverse life and trades. At number 40 was the Margaret Cafe, a most homely place
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.